It's unclear what President Trump plans to do next after Iran's supreme leader rejected U.S. calls for surrender in the face of more Israeli strikes and warned against any U.S. military involvement. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei spoke a day after Trump demanded in a social media post that Iran surrender without conditions and warned that the U.S. knows where he is but has no plans to kill him, at least for now.
President Donald Trump says his patience with Iran has, quote, already run out. But as of yet, he hasn't confirmed what the next U.S. move will be in the growing crisis between the two countries.
You don't know that I'm going to even do it. You don't know. I may do it. I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do. I can tell you this, that Iran's got a lot of trouble, and they want to negotiate. And I said, why didn't you negotiate with me before? All this death and destruction. Why didn't you negotiate with me 2 weeks ago? You could have done fine. You would have had a country.
Meantime, in a recorded speech aired on TV, his first appearance since Friday, Iran's supreme leader says his country will not surrender. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says the Pentagon has provided possible options to Trump as he decides any next steps. But he would not tell lawmakers on whether the military was planning to assist with Israeli strikes, an action that could risk dragging America into a wider war in the Middle East.
There's only one person that was elected president of the United States, and the American people elected him to make these decisions on their behalf. And if and when those decisions are made, the department is prepared to execute.
The Israelis are now waiting to see if the U.S. president will help them destroy Iran's nuclear facilities, specifically sites that Israel hasn't been able to reach.
Bunker busters is a more colloquial term that we use to discuss large airdrop munitions that are capable of doing a couple of things. First, it's penetrating hard and deeply buried targets. Think something like a bunker or a facility that's built within a mountain. The GBU-57, which is the massive ordnance penetrator that's being discussed heavily in terms of American involvement in Iran, can actually penetrate up to 200 feet before detonating its ordnance.
One expert says striking Iran would open Pandora's box and will most likely consume the rest of Trump's presidency.
President Trump currently has a choice of taking a diplomatic off-ramp, which the Iranians are signaling that they are interested in actively pursuing through back-channel talks, or to take a war of choice. Actually, maybe it's not even a war of choice. It's being dragged by Prime Minister Netanyahu kicking and screaming into this conflict with Iran. And the thought that this is going to be a short runway or a quick hit and run, I think just defies every single example of U.S. military intervention we've seen in North Africa and in the Middle East over the past 2 decades.
Some in Israel are urging involvement.
I trust President Trump to do what is right for the United States, but in conversations with international officials and in the international media, I keep repeating the United States needs to join this campaign.
In the U.S., some senators like Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham are also pushing Trump to join, while others have concerns.
And I don't want us fighting a war. I don't want another Mideast war.
I think we need to know what the potential is to take out the Iranian enrichment facilities at Fordow. I also think it's important for us to know what the status is of the servicemen and women who are in the region, also how many Americans in Israel might be affected.
I believe this president's doing the right thing.
After Trump convened members of his national security team in the Situation Room Tuesday, no decision has been made. U.S. officials and now the president say everything, including a diplomatic solution, is still on the table.
Mr. President, on Iran, if regime change does happen there, if the regime falls, do you have a plan for what you think would happen?
I have a plan for everything, but we'll see what happens. Kind of ways to go.
I would like to thank President Trump, a great friend of the State of Israel. I thank him for standing alongside us, and I thank him for the support of the U.S. in assisting in defending the skies over Israel.
Meanwhile, Iran says it will continue to defend itself.
If the Americans decide to get involved militarily, we have no choice but to retaliate wherever we find the targets necessary to be acted upon. So that is clear and simple. Because we are acting in self-defense.